All right. So thank you guys so much for jumping on tonight's Millionaires Club call. A couple of announcements. We do have the Full Tank Experience June 1st through the 3rd, which is going to be in Rhode Island and Martha's Vineyard. You do have just a couple more days. I think it's less than a week that you have. So just to the very end of this month, which is on Friday or Saturday, in order to get your ticket for the fulltankexperience.com. At the fulltankexperience.com. Congratulations to those of you that are going to be vacationing like billionaires in Martha's Vineyard in June. You do not want to miss out. If you have the opportunity to go ahead, it's not too late. Go ahead and grab that ticket. It's definitely going to be well worth it. There's all types of impartation that's going to happen. So not only are they going to be inspired and motivated by the exposure of being able to walk in the footsteps of those previous mega millionaires, billionaires that built those mansions, but there's a serious impartation that will take place during that experience. So make sure you join that. Okay, congratulations to everybody that is joining us on the $1 million challenge. I am so proud of you all. Okay, just put some clap emojis in the chat. Give yourselves a round of applause. Pat your own self on the back because you are doing a thing. Okay, when it comes to investing collectively towards this $1 million, y'all are not playing. We now have collectively invested $491,397.07. Woo! So we are almost 50% of the way to our goal. Okay, so we set a goal to invest $1 million by the end of the year. We're already almost half of the way there, and we are not at the halfway mark of the year. So we are doing this thing much quicker than anticipated. But of course, I knew that because I know you guys. I know how you are. I know you don't play about your money and you don't play about those investments. So congratulations. If you have not logged your investments, right? So stocks, bonds, Forex, cryptocurrency, any type of residual investments that you may be making that are coming out of your account automatically, whether it's precious metals, there are some automatic things, your 401k, there's some automatic things that you may have set up that you're forgetting that you're investing in every single month. Those dividends, maybe you have your dividends that come back automatically reinvested. Be sure to head over to jeweltankard.com and mark those things down because we want to give you credit for those. Okay. And you might say, oh, girl, I meant to mark mine down, but I haven't done that. And we're already in April and I feel so bad. Don't feel bad. Okay. Because just last month, I overloaded Camille by putting in all my investments that I had done for the entire year. And so it's okay. Camille will be just fine. She wants you to get your investments in. Trust me. So go ahead and upload your proof, upload the amount of investment, and just take some time, whether it's next Sunday or whatever. Say, hey, I'm going to knock this out in an hour and go in and just knock them out one by one because we want you to get credit for your investment. So congratulations to you. If you are interested in joining our Millionaires Club prayer group, you know that Dr. Jewel, our leader, believes strongly in prayer. Okay. She mixes prayer and business like no one else that I know. And so if you want to be a part of the Millionaires Club prayer group, then that prayer group does meet every single Saturday morning. It is under the direction of Pastor Nadine Chase, who is the director of prayer and morale for the club. This prayer group prays for you. Okay. They are praying for Dr. Jewel, praying for every single week. They pray for Dr. Jewel. They pray for the team. They pray for every millionaires in this club. They pray for all of our families. They pray for our businesses, our jobs, that everything that we touch would prosper. And so they are praying you through. If you want to be a part of that amazing intercessory team, go ahead, take a screenshot of the screen, send Pastor Nadine a text, or shoot an email to millionairesclub@jeweltankard.com, and we'll point you in the right direction so you can join that separate Telegram group and get all the notifications of when they will meet next. All right. Thank you guys so much for praying. We really, really, really appreciate your sacrifice, and we can feel your prayers. They are making a significant difference in our lives. All right. Excited about the book club. So our next read is going to be Millionairess Lifestyle, Understanding the Price and the the process. Now, I know I told you to have your books by today. That's because I wanted you to be prepared. So hopefully all of you have purchased your book for our next book club read. We are not going to be going over the book tonight. Okay. Tonight is just to get your mind right before we even go into the book. But we will start reading, going over the book on the next club chat session. So you'll be receiving an email when you get this replay with more instruction on which chapters you're supposed to read. You guys know how we do. We'll give you the breakdown on all the chapters you're supposed to read and what you can expect. But go ahead, dig in to your book if you've not already done so. I know some of you couldn't wait and you've already been reading it. That's okay. Go ahead and start reading your book and we'll discuss it on the next club chat with Dr. Jewel herself. All right. Last announcement is our office hours. If you need to reach us, you can call us at 615-987-9870, or you can shoot an email to our administrator, which is Tasha, and she will get back to you during office hours. Okay. So that email is millionairesclub@jeweltankard.com. All right. So if your bank account changed and you don't know how to change your payments, you're having technical difficulties or anything like that, reach out to Tasha. She'll be able to help you. You've got our office hours on the screen. I suggest you screenshot that so that you won't be waiting for us to respond to you and it's outside of office hours. Okay. So make sure that you go ahead and mark those things down. All right. I know you guys are ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pray. And then I am going to introduce our amazing speaker for tonight. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day. We know that this is the day that you've made. We choose to rejoice and be glad in this day. Thank you so much for everything you've given us. Thank you that you've blessed our hands to prosper. We thank you for this amazing club. We thank you for Dr. Jewel's mentorship. God, we won't squander this relationship. We won't take it for granted, but we will take full advantage of all of the information that you've given us, knowing that through her, you are teaching us how to profit and leading us in the way that we should go. All right. Amen. Okay. So tonight's special guest is who we affectionately call the mini millionairess. You guys, I'm sorry, natural hair just does its own thing. Okay. So we call her the mini millionairess, and she is going to be talking to you about how to build an amazing brand. Okay, so for those of you that have been around for any amount of time, we have watched Cyrene Tankard literally start to build her brand nearly from scratch. And we've just watched it blossom, take off. I mean, now she's worked with mega brands, $1 million companies. I'm not going to tell her own story. I'll let her do it. But I mean, her face and her name is literally everywhere. Okay. So it took a lot of tenacity, consistency, and persistence to be able to do that. And the level of focus that it takes is much more than just, oh, I posted something on social media here and, oh, I kind of posted something over there. No, there's a strategy behind this thing. Okay. And so she's going to talk to you about building a brand. She's going to mix that in with, talking about raising your children to have a millionaire mindset. She really didn't have a choice. So she's going to talk to you about what that looks like. And I'm super excited and honored to introduce her. Cyrene, I think I saw you earlier. Are you on?
Yes, I am here. Hello.
Hey, beautiful. We see you. Take
Can
it
everybody
away.
hear me and see me fine?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Well, hello. Good evening, everybody. I'm really excited and honored to be here. Can't believe she asked me to speak to you guys tonight. So I feel pretty special. So if I have not met you all before, I see some familiar faces on the video chat, but if we haven't met before, hello. My name is Cyrene Tankard. I am Jewel Tankard's daughter. And Ashia is absolutely right in that I had no choice in this, but it is one of the no choices that you would want to have. It is a blessing, and I have literally learned so much, and I look forward to sharing with you all tonight. So I definitely want to keep tonight like an open forum. So if anybody has any like particular questions or, you know, particular topics that you want me to touch on, I'm happy to do that. I guess put it in the chat, or I'll put the chat on the side so I can see any questions that you all put in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, I don't mind. I don't know how this usually goes, but I definitely want this to be an open forum. So yes, I am 26 years old, lived in Murfreesboro my whole life. Well, except for when I was a little younger, you know, 5, that doesn't really count. But lived in Murfreesboro my whole life, and kind of was raised really sheltered. You know, went to a private Christian school, only Black kid in my classes. And it was, you know, a lot. But one thing that my mom did do really well that kind of started everything off, I feel like, to help me where I am now, just in managing so many events and people and, you know, life, is I was always involved in not just school, but also like sports and organizations and Spanish club and giving back and being involved in the church. That really set me up, I feel like, to be able to manage heavy loads, you know, and not get tired or burn out easily. And I think it also gave me the opportunity to, you know, figure out, oh, I like this, I don't like this, I want to do more of this, I want to do less of this. So it's like, how do you know if you want to do something if you've never tried it, right? So the best thing to do with your kids is, you know, encourage them to try new things. You know, video games are fine, TV is fine, but they need to get out, you know, in the real world and, you know, interact with people, face certain challenges in relationships, teammates, whatever. So that was, I would say, key number 1. Key number 2 is, although I was raised in like a sheltered home, I still was exposed in a lot of different other ways. So not in the way of the world, but in the way of wealth and in the way of just going to parade of homes and going to the private airport with my parents and, you know, flying all over these different places. And, you know, my mom able to send me off to Europe to visit 6 different places whenever I was like 15. And being able to go to Berkeley University for, you know, 2 weeks to go to a law program, just certain things at such a young age and certain exposure at such a young age that I feel like definitely helped shape my perspective on things. And, you know, just having, you know, those experiences that I could speak on and, you know, talk about. Another thing I would say that's very important is reading. Can you guys hear me fine? Okay, cool. Reading is another.
First of all, I want to get Texas flowers, number 1. Gotta get his flowers.
Oh, you just went on mute, Cyrene. You're muted now.
Okay, how about now? Can everybody hear me good?
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let me pull the chat box back up. Okay. Yes. So like I was saying, I think just reading different books, it's just different levels of exposure. I feel like can help you. Of course, we all need a little bit of that edge, you know, that street knowledge, that street exposure. But for the most part, I feel like if you really hone in on those important things, those investing in yourself, you know, education and self-care, just all that other stuff can really make a big difference in the long run. So now I guess we can hop on over to how I kind of got my brand up and going. Love, I think you need to get off your AirPods because it keeps crossing over. Yeah, just put the AirPods away. Sorry, you guys. This keeps Apple devices. You know how that goes. So anyways, yes, how I got started with the brand. So obviously you all know that we had a show on Bravo called Thicker Than Water. And we had 3 seasons of that show. And I was around 16 when that started. And it was around 19 when it ended. So it was a great experience. I was exposed to a lot of things, especially in production. I was like, oh, I think I want to be a producer. Oh, I think I want to go into TV and doing some behind the scenes things, which I did, which was awesome. Babe, no AirPods, please. Hello, do you guys hear me? This AirPods, Jesus. Yes, so I was like, I want to know, what can I, here we go. What can I do to, incorporate doing TV and being behind the scenes in my life as well as being on the show? Because even though I was a young age, I knew I wanted to maximize the experience and maximize the time, which is why today I still have a lot of those relationships with those people that worked on our show and have helped and to connect me with different, things and events and people to help me further in my career. So that's another thing. Relationships are important. Sometimes people are like, I don't like people. People let me down. People do this. People do that. Jesus. Okay. People let you down. People do this. People do that. No, we need people. You need people to build an empire. You cannot just be you and that's it just because you don't like people. So you have to figure out how to work with people, how to maximize those relationships. And when I say that, I don't mean using people. I mean, you should always have something that you're bringing to the table, especially if you're asking something of someone, whether that be their time, whether that be their advice, whatever that is. It just has to be reciprocated in some type of way because nobody wants to give from a glass that is half full half empty. I'm sorry. So definitely relationships. I started working at the production company that actually filmed our show called Cyrene's Media. And I was able to learn so much. I started off at the front desk, super humble, $8 an hour, just pushing paper, helping with the different actors and, whatever they needed help with around the office. I was like, okay, cool. This was my sophomore year. My sophomore year summer, my mom was like, okay, Cyrene, summertime is coming around. What are you about to do? Because if you don't have any plans, I'm not paying for you to be on campus all summer with no plans. So you're going to come home. Well, baby, that wasn't an option for me. That was not an option for me. Me going back to Murfreesboro when I had already experienced the city life and I was already kind of, getting my feet wet. That was not an option for me. So I went back to my job where I had my front desk position and I was like, I want to apply to be a PA. I want to be a PA and because I know that if I'm a PA, I can get paid more. I can get paid enough to get an apartment here in DC. So I went back. I was like, I want to do this. I'm going to be available. I'm going to be available to, work long hours. I'm not going to be in school. Can I please do this? They gave me the opportunity and I started working as a PA. While working as a PA was great, while I learned so much and while I got, gained so many skill sets, oh, baby, it was so tiring. It is such hard work. It is labor, manual labor, hard on your body, long hours, early in the morning, gets a call time at 5 a.m., not leaving set till 1 a.m., and then you wake up for 2 weeks and do it all over again. And I just knew okay, this is lit, and I know that there's a lot of room for growth, but this is just really hard on me and my body, and I was not made for this. So from there, I was like, well, I still need to have money to pay rent. And I know that I can't just, hey, mom, I'm not doing this anymore. And even though, people like to assume, oh, your parents, they have money, they'll support you, they'll this, they're that. Well, sure, they will, but they want to see me produce. They want to see me do well. And honestly, I wanted to see me produce. I wanted to see me produce. I wanted to see me go above and beyond. I wanted to push myself and see how far I could go. And that was one of the best things I could do. Because of that, because of going out, getting that PA job, I was able to get my apartment. Because school was coming back in, I knew I had to strategize and come up with something else. So I knew that they had in-office positions. This would allow me to kind of have more of a 9 to 5 type schedule, not super crazy hours. And this would allow me to get everything I needed to do done with school and also still be able to pay my bills. So, so I ended up going back to the office and was like, hey, can I work with one of you guys as like a casting assistant or an assistant with something, anything? Well, I just so happened to be blessed that they had a new casting agent that they hired and she needed an assistant and they had a budget for an assistant. Thank you, Jesus, because you know that was favor and the timing was impeccable. So I was able to go in and get the casting assistant job. She was able to teach me so much. Black woman, still love her to this day. And I was able to work as a casting assistant, which was awesome. And then I just continued. To do that until like, I think my senior year. During my senior year, I was like, you know, I need to focus on school. My grades are kind of falling and I want to at least graduate with a realistic GPA. So at that point, I feel like my parents were like, you know what? You did what needed to be done. You paid for your living for these 2-3 years. We're proud of you. We've seen what you've been able to do. We'll help you out for this last year of school so you can focus on your grades. Thank you. Because I was able to make the dean's list. Thank you. So after doing that, I just kind of still was working. I had a movie that I worked on that's on Netflix. It's called Love.com, if any of you all ever want to check it out. And I worked on a few other shows, movies, things like that. But again, I had already told you all that's a little hard on my body. It's a lot hard on my mental. It's working with a lot of different people, white men particularly, that feel like they can say anything. But it's important that you learn how to speak to. It's important that you learn how to speak to all different types of people. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna be like, oh, this is too hard, this is too difficult, oh, this person hurt my feelings. Well, we all know that the world doesn't stop just because your feelings are hurt. We all know that the world continues to go. And so that's why it's important to stay focused on the prize, no matter who's making you feel like what. Of course, don't take anything, but you know, typically if things are difficult, we have to learn how to overcome these challenges. So yes, production life, too much. I go to Sephora one day. This is soon after I graduated. I go to Sephora and I'm like, I need some skincare stuff. I really don't know too much about skincare, but I need some stuff. I asked the employee what to get. She points me out to a brand called Sunday Riley and is like, oh, you should get this, blah, blah, blah. So I just get it because, you know, whatever. I get it and I go somewhere and I'm like, oh, let me do a Sephora haul. This is before any of the stuff. I might have had like 20,000 followers on Instagram, whatever. I'm like, let me do this little Sephora haul. I post it to Instagram and the brand reaches out and they're like, hey, like we would love to send you the full like line of product. And I was like, what? Me? You want to send me the full line of product? Like, that's crazy. Like, okay, but yes, obviously, yes, I'm not going to say no to this. You all couldn't just hear me for those last few seconds, couldn't you? You could now? Okay. But I go to Sephora and I get this, I take a picture, the brand reaches out, amazing, cool. I'm like, wow, maybe this is something that I can do. Maybe this is something that I can replicate and do over and over and over again. So I start with it, I start small. I just kind of start, you know, using the product, sharing the product, figuring out like, okay, well, I already post a lot of beauty content on my page, like my Instagram page and stuff. So let me just continue doing that and just seeing like what pops, what does well, what doesn't. Some stuff didn't do well at all, and that's okay. Some stuff didn't do well at all, and some stuff really did well. So I just started taking notes on, okay, they love seeing this content. They love seeing when I post about this, and they're not so interested when I post about this. So once I start creating that and you know, kind of finding my niche, I'm like, okay, let me duplicate. Let me see how can I expand? How can I do more? And I just started reaching out to brands myself. So I would create the content prior to reaching out, something that I think that the brand If somebody,
We can't.
you can't hear me?
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, can everybody hear me fine? I just had to, let's just shut down the AirPod usage as a whole. Okay.
Yes.
Just not use AirPods. It keeps going back.
Mhm.
Okay. Keeps interrupting, so please turn it off. Yes, so where was I? I was at where I started reaching out to brands. So this part gets really important. I start reaching out to brands. A lot of brands tell me no. A lot of brands tell me, no, you don't have enough followers. No. Somebody's thing on? Okay, I think we're good. Brands are telling me no. Brands are telling me, oh, you don't have enough followers. You don't have the look we're going for. This, that, and the third, whatever the case might be, right? So there were times when I would be like, oh my goodness, like, how am I gonna make this work? How am I gonna make these brands want to work with me? Da 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 da. Pivot. Each time something looks like, it's not going the way that I need it to go. Pivot. Try something new. People are gonna say no. Somebody's not gonna approve of it, but somebody is going to say yes. Somebody is going to approve of your content, approve of whatever it is that you're trying to do. My biggest advice would be to accept the no's, be ready to pivot to get the yeses. So you'll have experiences where whatever, something didn't work out, but you ladies, don't internalize it. It's not always about you. Sometimes they don't have the budget. Sometimes they don't, have the wherewithal, whatever the case may be. Just be ready to pivot and keep trying again. Because some of those brands that I reached out to back in 2018 are now reaching out to me in 2022. So all I'm saying is keep going, keep trying, keep producing, because on the other side of that no, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's a month from now, whether it's a year from now, the yes is on the other side. So consistency, discipline, just because something doesn't go the way you like it to see, don't use that as an excuse to stop. We are our biggest, enemy at times. So you have to switch that around and be your biggest encourager, be your biggest supporter. Just know that if you continue to go in this, just like anything else, it's going to turn out just fine. So yeah, I would say that is my biggest piece of advice on branding. Keep trying, keep going, find and see what people like. Look at your statistics, look at the numbers. Okay, let me try and emulate that, do that again. And that's literally the formula. And also don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Be ready for it. Don't be afraid. So yes, I had an incredible time talking to you ladies tonight. Sorry about the Bluetooth back and forth. But I would love to open the floor for any questions if there are any before I log off.
Hey, Sai, awesome job. There was a couple things that I wanted to point out that you said that really stuck out to me. First thing was you said that three things. First thing was after you realized that that particular company that had partnered with Sephora wanted to give you product, you immediately thought, how can I monetize this? You didn't just say, oh, this is a sweet gift, thank you, and then keep it moving. You had the eye to be able to recognize money-making opportunities. And I think that's so important because a lot of us are presented with things every single day, but because we don't recognize it as an opportunity to monetize something, we just walk away from it, and we could have developed that and we could have been making some money from that. And then the second thing was you said that you started reaching out to brands and you would already create the content, or you would already, to be able to paint this picture of, hey, this is what I can do for you. That is so smart because it's like you can't leave it up to them to be able to see how you can help them when you're the one that's trying to get on. So so it's like, okay, that's really, really smart. And just knowing how to pitch, knowing how to articulate your worth, knowing how to articulate your value, knowing how to articulate what it is that you bring to the table, why they should partner with you versus someone else. All of that stuff is so important. And you guys, so when I ask you at the beginning of these calls, what is it that you want the world to know you for? Drop in the chat your area of expertise. A part of that is so that you get comfortable saying these things about yourself. Because if you can't even put in a Millionairess Club chat, hey, this is who I am and this is what I do, then you're not going to be able to do that for $1 million brand. You're not going to be able to do that for, some venture capitalist or, whatever. You're not going to be able to do that when it takes time to be able to do that. And the last thing was you stuck with it because you said some of the same brands that you reached out to in 2018 are now reaching out to you. But if you had totally shifted away from beauty because you gave up, those brands probably wouldn't be reaching out to you, but you stuck with it long enough to be able. So those were my 3 aha moments, like, wow, this is really, really powerful what you said.
So, hey, Cyrene, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. I just want to thank you for, sharing your information, for your time. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. I'm not sure how to go with it, but with what it called when it comes to being a brand, sponsor or either having a paid partnership with a certain, company, designer, whatever. What are the particular things that they're looking for? And I know specifically because I've worked in the fashion industry, so I know a little bit when you're talking, it's sort of like clicks. I know what you're saying because you speak in my same language. So the question, but when it comes to paid partnerships, it's a little different. So I know you have to have a certain amount of followers, if I'm not mistaken. But if that's not the case, how do people see, okay, I want a paid partnership? Because I know Marcus and his wife also do paid partnerships as well. So can you speak on that? Like how you get yourself to obtain paid partnerships with other companies or designers?
Yes. So I would definitely say that companies are not if you're going to reach out to them, they're going to be like, okay, well, what do you have in mind? So definitely have something in mind that you think like, oh, I know if I did this particular reel that the engagement rate would be high. So I know you had said, oh, do you have to have a particular amount of followers? No. There are micro influencers. There are influencers with 10,000, 5,000, even 2,000 followers. But if their community is invested and engaged with them, honestly, I could take somebody that lives in DC with 2,000 followers, and if honestly all 2,000 or even 1,500 of their following is engaged with them, that's a lot of power, 1,500 people. So it doesn't mean that, oh, you have to have 80K or 100K or 1 million followers to get a paid partnership. No, it's people with 5,000 followers that are getting great engagement off of Reels. So if anybody is interested in doing TikTok, Reels, that's what's blowing up. Instagram is favoring that type of content. So I would say, like I said prior, create content. So if you're doing fashion, girl, put that outfit on instead. You know what I'm saying? Like put on your Fendi, put on your Zara, put on your wherever you're shopping at, but put it on, because we all know just because it's Gucci or it's Louis or whatever, that don't mean it's hot. It could be from the thrift store, and if you wearing it and you make it hot, it's gonna pop. So especially that, because even that is a little more difficult, and I would think that would be cool. Even a 30-day thrift challenge, putting it together, 30 days of that. Great brands are going to see that. Somebody is going to see that. So just having the content already there that's high quality, that is engaging, that your followers like, is going to bring you what you're looking for, in addition to you doing the groundwork and reaching out to. And also, let me be clear, there are a lot of different platforms you can use as well to kind of cut out a lot of that work. So I reach out personally, and I have like an email template that I use, but I also use some platforms. There's a platform called Aspire, which is really great. I've gotten several collabs. I actually just got a collaboration from them that I posted tonight about Green Chef. I got that collaboration on Aspire brand. So if you want to write down aspire.com, there's also a brand influencer platform called activate.com. You could just type in Activate influencer program on Google. Winston is another one that I've gotten some cool collabs on. So these are all different platforms that can help accelerate you. And like I said, be ready for the no's, but somebody's going to be there with the yes. And if you curate your page properly and appropriately and consistently, then you are going to see those results that you're looking for.
Thank you.
I hope that helped to answer your question a little bit.
Hey, Sai, you have a couple questions in the chat. So the first question is from Lakeisha. She said, is it best to go through agencies for brand partnerships?
I wouldn't necessarily say best. I would say probably more convenient and easy. I have brokered deals on my own that would probably amount to more than if I would use an agency, because an agency is going to take a percentage of your earnings, and I want 100% of mine. So like I said, I do use some platforms, and I do know people that use agencies and are successful with that. But me personally, I have not gotten into that yet, so I don't want to give you advice on something that I haven't necessarily done quite yet. But also no one has really piqued my interest to where I'm like, oh, you can do more for me than what I'm already doing for myself.
Okay. We have another question that says, how do you figure out what your niche is for social media?
I think it's a lot of trial and error. So first and foremost, let's see, what are you naturally into? Like, what are you naturally good at? Are you good at doing eyebrows, hair, makeup, clothes, fragrance, whatever? Then I would start doing test posts. Like, okay, I posted about my nails today and the engagement was great, you know? Or I posted about my hair today, but the engagement was okay. At that point, I would be like, maybe you should post some more nail content. Maybe you should post some jewelry with the nail content. Maybe you should post a carousel post with 3 posts, one about the nails, one about something that you want to integrate into your following, that you want them to like, and then another with the nails, you know, almost like a soft launch, if you will, because your audience needs to get to know you and they need to trust you. So if they see you consistently talking about nails, because they see like that's your thing, now you're going to get a lot of nail girls. Now you're going to get, oh, let me go to this girl's page because she has all the cute nails on her page. So I know I can go there for inspiration. And I can send some of these nails to my friends and to my family and to my nail tech and blah, 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 blah. And now you have a whole little buzz circulating just from being consistent. So, yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question.
Oh, that's great. So another question is, what are your top suggestions to get more followers? I know you said Reels and TikTok, and she said how often to post also.
So different people are going to say different things. I've seen people say post 3 times a day. I am one of those believers that if you post 5 posts in one day, one of them joints is going to pop. So if you post 5 Reels, one of them might go viral or at least semi-viral. Some people are more of perfectionists and they're like, nah, I'm going to, plan this out. I'm going to make sure that this aligns with my page and looks like this, looks like that. So I would say it just depends on the type of content you're trying to produce and also the type of following you have. But I will say, yes, I think the more you post, the better. If you have it and you want to batch create content, meaning you create 10 different things in one day for a post. So now you can just load the gram up or load Twitter, Facebook up all week long, and you already created that in one day. That's an easy way to do it. I'm not going to say easy, but it's a more convenient way to do it. Batch creating content, I do that sometimes. But yeah, I would say post as much as you can and make it consistent. but also with variety. I know it's like, so what do I do? Do I be consistent or do I do different stuff? Well, I would say slowly integrate it. Find whatever your niche is by testing and, you know, trying out what people respond well to. And then from there, create.
That's awesome. So another question we have is, how should micro influencers price their campaigns? Are there rates they should expect?
Yes. So I would definitely say engagement matters, following count matters, but also quality matters too. So if you know that you're shooting with a Sony A7R4 or something that's very expensive, a $5,000 camera, you know, you can kind of price that in. Just how people are like, oh, well, the organic food or the gluten-free food is going to cost a little more because it took a little more to make it, because you had to invest a little more to get it done. You can kind of price yourself out like that. So I look at it from like 3 different ways. Like I said, quality of content, engagement, and following. But also following and engagement can cross each other out, because like I said, if it's an influencer with 10,000 followers, but they're getting more engagement than somebody with 100,000 followers, you might want to go with the, you know, it really depends. So yeah, I would definitely say, don't sell yourself short either. It's kind of test and trial. It's like when people put their product on the market, usually you might do some market research, which I would suggest do some market research, but also, you know what you're putting in. I know if I went in, bought the product, bought this, bought that, went in and made sure, everything was correct and good for in them and went above and beyond, I'm probably going to tax them, because it took a lot for me to do this. It took a lot for me to make this. I took time out, especially if I'm going back and editing and reshooting and doing this and that. So I definitely would say, like, don't sell yourself short, and definitely do some market research.
Awesome. So Katie has a question. She said, do you engage in other people's pages or just people's comments on your page in order to create engagement?
I would say that is a good thinking, to go to other people's pages and put comments, because sometimes that can definitely work. Me personally, I've been blessed to where my audience usually does engage with my posts to a degree. So most of the time I just respond, and I try and respond back to stories and DMs, especially when they have specific particular questions. But yes, I don't think that that's a bad idea to go engage in other people's pages, but I would say definitely make sure that you are catering and engaging with the audience you already have. So if you already have somebody that's following you, supporting you, all of that, definitely pour into that person. And you can say that in friendships too. Pour into who pours into you. So make sure you are giving back to those people that are already supporting you, instead of being so obsessed with trying to find new fans and new followers. Focus on your group now, because they the ones supporting you.
That's good. So would you say Facebook is dead? I mean, like, would you say, in terms of, would you say that the platform somebody focuses on is going to be based on their audience, or maybe based on their brand, or should they just go where they happen to have the most following right now? Like, if somebody hasn't really been posting a whole lot at all, but they say, okay, I see that there might be some cash flow in this, I really want to focus, like, where would they start? Do they need to create a TikTok account or Instagram, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you have any type of desire to monetize on social media, I would say get as much social media platforms as possible. And then I would say, yeah, if you have one that is popping off more than the other, definitely engage in that, but don't forget your other ones. I just got TikTok for 4 months ago. And I try and just post on there as much as I do on Instagram, videos and reels and stuff. and engage with that. But I know that I'm not going to see the results that I want to see unless I get really consistent with it, because that is literally the name of the game. Consistency, finding your niche, and having something for people to come back to. So I would like to think that people could say, oh, let me go to Cyrene's page to see like what makeup she's using, or like what outfit she has on, or where she's traveling to this week, or whatever lifestyle content you want to see. Like, I want to continue to create something that people know, oh, when they see that, they associate it with me. So try and do that with your audience. If they see something in particular, they associate it with you. 9 times out of 10, you have a name in your friend group or in your family group, whether you're the funny one, whether you're the serious one, whether you're whatever it is. So that same type of staple that you have on yourself from your friend group or your family group, try to create that in your engagement. So people are like, oh, I could go to her page to laugh. I could go to her page for inspiration on how to cook these meals. I can go to her page for fashion and thrifting. Like, create that consistency so that people are like, and be creative with it. So that people are like, oh, I love how she did that so differently. She's not just putting on the Louboutins. She bought some Doc Martens and she made that look like $1 million. Like, that's so creative. I never would have thought of that. And then you literally gain following and engagement from being original and from being interesting.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Does anybody have any other questions for Cyrene that they want to ask her about anything she's talked about? Social media, growing up with millionaire parents.
I don't want to be the one to ask several questions, because I can ask questions all day about this about marketing. That's my niche. But one was, congratulations on Dr. Jewel told us about your collaboration with Miss Kardashian. I don't know why I'm forgetting her name, but yes, but your collab with that. So just tell us that process, like break that down. How was that? How did you respond to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty much like any other process. Actually, with this one, I got Scott Disick, which is Courtney's baby daddy. He has a line of like sweatsuits or whatever. So I reached out to the brand. They were like, oh yeah, we'd love to send you some stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool. Usually if someone sends me something, I'll just share it in my stories, unless I just genuinely like it and want to post it, because I'm not under contract. Make sure you have contracts. I'm not under contract to post anything. So whatever I decide to do is just what I decide to do. So with Scott's brand, Talentless, I posted like a reel and then like a post. And that was cool, but they didn't pay me for it. But I liked the sweats. They're super comfortable. And then I reached out to 818 Tequila, which is Kendall's tequila brand. And they were like, okay, yeah, like we'd love to send you some stuff. It was literally just like that. We'd love to send you some stuff. But again, it was no contractual agreement. So this is just like, all right, we're just going to create this because I think that this is a good idea. And, I think it's cool. And then with Chris, she has a cleaning brand that just dropped in Walmart, maybe Target too, Get Safely. And I just posted that on my stories. Again, no contract, no under contract. And then she had reposted it a couple of times. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, that was not under contract. That was just like, oh, we'll send it to you. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to post it because I think it's cool.
Okay, awesome. So we have a couple people with their hands raised. Lanita, did you have a question?
Yes, I didn't know if you saw my hand, so I put it in the chat. Thank you so much, Cyrene. Great job explaining everything. My question was, when using like TikTok and Reels and what have you, I'm still learning making the videos. What are the different edit video apps do you recommend? You know how when they make the TikTok and then they put words on different pictures or videos?
Yeah.
I don't know what app they're using.
So that part is pretty that part is pretty simple. So usually when you create, like, let's say you're creating a video in the app, right? Like, let's say you're making it on Instagram. You press the button, the record button, boom. And then once you have your video, it's just replaying, right? Just over and over. So what you can do to add text is you can either tap the video itself and then type in the text because your keyboard will come up. Or you can go to the top corner and click, it should be a box with like the letter A in it, I think. And you can click that and it'll let you add text to that. And I think it's a similar process for TikTok as well.
Cause it's like when I do it, the text is just like this, like I might say happy birthday, sister, right? And it's the same thing on each one, but you know how they have the different text, you know, as the video plays on each slide or each picture. So I know someone
are you
told
saying you like wanted to get like a different text per video? I mean,
Right.
per like slide or whatever?
yes.
So yeah, you can go to the bottom, and if you're making a reel on Instagram,
Mhm.
you can go to the bottom and you'll see the bar where your video is, like the editing bar.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you should be able to go and put the text and then stop it at a point. Like, let's say this is the video and this is where you want the text to end. You should be able to click it, add your text, and then drag the text there. And then you should be able to continue to just do that same process for each part of the video.
Okay.
Or you can just probably, yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Cyrene. And then Angelique, you also had your hand up. Did you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Cyrene. This is more of a personal question. They mentioned that, you know, they call you mini millionairess. And I also heard you mention about humility. I was just wondering, what was some wisdom? I mean, we're blessed to be sitting at Dr. Jewel's feet and receive her wisdom, but from mother to daughter, what was some wisdom that she shared with you in walking in the fact that you're blessed, you have more than others? How do you stay grounded in humility?
Yeah, no, humility is really, really big. In my life and in my mom's life, my parents' life, I would say my mom and my dad. That was something that was instilled at a very, very early age. Just that, you know, nobody is better than the other person, no matter like what that reason is, rather it be skin color, rather it be height, rather it be size, rather it be socioeconomic status. That's just something I was always taught. Like, it doesn't matter what the next guy is doing, you always need to be nice and respectful, period. So that was automatically just put in me innately. And I would say just every single time maybe I got something, especially like being younger, like toys or something like that, it would always be really important to like, hey, share. Hey, like, you know, you're blessed. Hey, there's so many other kids that do not have this. There's so many other kids that don't have these experiences. And that's true because I'm friends with some of them. And, you know, I definitely try and take it on to like help as much as I can and like put on game as much as I can, because I do realize that I am connected to such a great vessel of wisdom. So I definitely try and help as much as I can. But honestly, it's just, I think I'm just blessed to have been taught that from an early age. And it's not cute to me. It's not cute to me. It's so many people struggling in the world. I don't like struggle. I don't like seeing people struggle. I want the best for everybody, even my enemies. Like, I'm praying for my enemies. Sometimes it be a little bit hard, but I do pray for my enemies because I don't want to see anybody bad, you know, down bad. I don't want to see anybody struggle. So for me, it's just like, yo, it's the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated, and, you know, vice versa. The way I would want to be treated, I'm not going to treat somebody the way I wouldn't want to be treated. So
Thank you for sharing.
That is awesome. Okay, so it's just about time to wrap up, but we do have one more question. Robin David, you had your hand raised.
I think you're on mute. Yeah, you're muted.
I'm muted now.
There you go.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Cyrene, I want to just say you just grew up to be such a beautiful young lady. I remember meeting you when you were like 10. I got the opportunity to polish your nails. I've been going to the church since 2005, so I've watched you grow up. And I just think you're an amazing young lady. I thank you for all the things you shared today. You have the best humility to be such a blessed beyond measure young woman and being, raised by Dr. Jewel and Dr. Ben. I just had an honor. I just want to say to you, continued success. Thank you for sharing all you shared today. And I remember her, y'all. She came to my nail table as a little girl, just as sweet as she is today, and was like, "Can you polish my nails?" And I'll never forget that little conversation, because just as she goes for these companies and network and value her relationships in the community and is very human, that's how she was when she came to my table, just full of joy, peace, happiness, just a beautiful young lady. So congratulations and thank you for everything you shared tonight.
Thank you, and thank you for painting my nails.
And Willie always loved him some Cyrene. So you went to school with my son as well. So you're welcome, baby. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for jumping on. Cyrene, thank you so much. You dropped some serious nuggets. I want to encourage everyone on here that you go back. I know you've been taking copious notes the entire time, but I want to encourage you, when you get the replay, go back, listen to the replay, make sure you write down the names of those websites that she gave. We did put them in the chat box as well when she was giving that information out, but be sure to check out those apps, check out those websites, do what she said. And so, whether you have a current business and increasing the exposure of your brand on social media can grow your current business, or if being a micro influencer can be a new stream of income for you, that you can now have additional cash flow to invest or additional cash flow to put into your other business. So just take this information that you got tonight, simmer on it, ask the question, how can I best utilize this information? How can I maximize this opportunity to be able to build wealth for myself and my family? You heard her talk about some things like consistency and persistence, but she also talked about posting things that are what you naturally do. So it's not like it becomes this full-time job trying to figure out what to post. You don't like posting, you don't like what you're posting. No, find what you like, what you naturally talk about, what you're already talking to your friends about, what you're already talking to your family about, what your family's coming to you for advice about, and then begin to expose your audience on social media with those things, and you'll be more likely to be consistent with it because it's something that you already enjoy. So thank you so much, Cyrene, for all the nuggets that you gave. We are going to cherish all of these things and definitely learn how to maximize our opportunity. So those of you that have not gotten your books, be sure to go ahead, get your books, look out for the email that'll tell you which chapters you're going to read. You'll definitely need to read at least chapters 1 and 2 before our very next Millionairess Club chat. You all have an amazing rest of the week, amazing end of the month. We are already almost in May. So thank you guys so much for your consistency, and we will see you on the next club chat. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. See y'all.